Now I'm standing at one of three soldering stations. So this is a soldering station. This is a soldering iron. Okay. It gets up to 462 degrees and higher. So this is safe, but down here is not. Okay. We've got, what we have is actually solder, which is a metal that will turn liquid when we heat it up with the soldering iron. We have something called flux, which will help make that connection really solid. And then this is a cleaning tool. This is a cleaning tool that you can take your soldering iron and stab it in here a bit, not all the way to the bottom, just enough to kind of clean the tip. You also can use this little wet sponge, make sure it's wet, to just kind of move some stuff off if you need to, okay? Important thing to remember about solder is it's not glue. Solder is solid when it's cool. As soon as you heat it up, it becomes liquid. And so that's one of the struggles if you're trying to attach or glue something together, that you have to remember that to glue it together, you have to remove the heat so it can freeze again. And then you have to add heat to make it liquid again or melt again. All right, so first thing we need to do, we've cut the wires, and now we're going to twist them. Okay, we need to twist them together in a really tight bunch. And I usually like to grab the ends and just kind of keep twisting it until it's all these little wires in here, all these tiny little wires in here are all one wire. Okay, and you do the same thing on the black wire, and you do that on the red wire. Okay, keeping those wires apart. Okay? Again, we've revealed the metal, the copper inside this, and if these were to touch in our project, then our light won't light. It will just short circuit. All right, so these both need to get dipped into this paste flux, and we just dip it in there. It's got the consistency of like Vaseline, and it really won't hurt you. So you can, if you get too much on it, you can just kind of move it around, but you don't really have to do that. Okay. On our soldering station base, we have these magnets, okay? The magnets serve to help hold project pieces. And so they have a little notch here. I'm gonna hold it, I'm gonna squeeze them like that, okay? And then I'm gonna take my soldering iron and my solder. So I have my soldering iron in my dominant hand and the solder itself in my left hand. So I'm right-handed, so I keep this, okay? You want to heat the wire underneath. So I'm going to put this part right here, and it doesn't need to be at the tip, just along this side. And I can start seeing it to smoke, and then I'm going to bring my solder over, and I'm going to touch both of them together, pressing the solder into, what's in my left hand, into the iron. Oh, there it goes, and it starts to melt. And then sometimes we lose track of where it is, or it startled us, and we move away from it. So when it starts to smoke, that's a good thing. All right. Smoking. Now we're going to take that, see that little, I don't know if you can see it, but that little silver bubble. I'm just moving that along this wire, and actually I have enough. If I can bring it back to my solder, I can actually do the second one like that. So the goal is to make your copper wires look completely silver. Try not to melt the black pieces down, or the little plastic pieces down there, but it's not that big a deal. I have a little bit of solder in the end. I'll clean that off, put this back in, and I'm done for this station, okay? And let me show you, see if I can show you a little closer. So these copper wires are now silver colored. And now we can go to the next station where we add this to our LED light.